Well, I suppose it's worth mentioning that or yesterday rather, this is my first week of a legitimate spring break for my sophomore year. And something that I probably should mention is the first week of summer where I kind of know what I'm doing for like a career and stuff. I don't know. Like I said before, that kind of stuff of like jobs and stuff is still up in the air for me. But at the moment, I am a little bit more confident with the whole video making stuff and like producing things and stuff like that. Granted, I haven't done anything except for You Got Game, but I just I think at the moment I'm looking pretty good on that front. Um, so very quick recap. My last week was literally just me wrapping up all of the assignments and stuff that I had for school, and Thursday was my first day that I was like 100% off, and I just kind of spent it doing like literally nothing. I watched YouTube videos and just hung out, which I know isn't the most productive thing in the world, but honestly, honestly when you've got everything to do, you just kind of don't feel like doing anything. You know what I'm saying? I think I did record a quick play video in Super Mario Galaxy 2 of me attempting the final level of it, only to find only to find out that to get to the final level you had to like really grind out star bits for that, which I found very annoying, but I did it anyway because, why bother waiting, you know? And through that waiting, I realized I just kind of forgot to turn on my microphone for almost half of the recording. So that may not even ever come out, but we'll just have to see. I'm in the beginning stages of the whole channel thing, so I don't probably shouldn't have to worry about that too much. The more I think about doing quick play, the less I'm confident that I'm able to like actually keep it going, because it may just because of like the games that I have access to, I may just like not be able to do anything for weeks and weeks on end in between games and such. And if I had like a meaty story to like dig into, then maybe I could, or like just a long running game that I could just kind of pad stuff out with. I could have a little bit of continuity. What am I trying to say? I could have a little bit of a long running series on my hands, but I played through all the way through Monster Hunter, and that's kind of a non-starter as far as like grinding things out goes. They do have the Defender set in Monster Hunter World where you can blast through the story mode with those weapons and armor sets. Although it won't look great, it'll be fine. I can work around that. The one thing that I also realize as well is that I feel like I'm more partial to editing things down if I am by myself, which is kind of why I want to try and do something with somebody else to, like share the burden of talking and stuff like that. Because I don't know, I feel like it's so much harder to, carry a conversation with myself than it is to like with somebody else kind of filling in the blanks for me and somebody to bounce off of. I did get through a static pod uh by myself, which was all right. I said my piece on that before, so I don't need to go through it again. But like I said before, it was just nothing special, and I feel like if I had somebody else there, somebody else could have been saying things that I wouldn't have been able to say. Um, the past Facebook video I did was just a very quick thing where I did a thing where I was just really tired from finals and recorded it at 3 in the morning. But I was able to get it done really quick, so it was all fine and dandy. The only real hurdle came was when Facebook was knocking at my door about copyright stuff, and I was just like, yeah, it's not mine. Mute whatever you want, because for whatever reason they detected that the copyright music came up at a minute 50, and the video itself isn't that long to begin with. So I don't even know what they tried to mute, but they didn't mute the song that helped the punchline. So I'm fine with what happened because I'm not making money off of it, so I think it's fine to be doing that. Um, yeah, that kind of really makes me think like I should be a little more careful as to what songs I use for different videos going forward because getting caught with copyright stuff and like getting copyright strikes on YouTube specifically is way more how do I want to say it? Has way more gravity the farther I get along with it, and if I'm not careful, then I screw everything up. So far, the audio library has been good to me, and I've been able to like get stuff from there for free, and for the most part, I don't have to attribute them to anything. They're just kind of there in itself, which is it's a double-edged sword as well because it is 100% free and able to be used, but at the same time, that's the same for literally everybody on YouTube. And see, the thing is, I don't know how many people know about the audio library, but it'll probably just like run into the Bensound thing where yeah that if you've ever gone to Bensound and went to the dubstep music, you'll know that that specific sound file has been used in literally just so many other YouTube videos, and I even found it in real life. Some gymnastics people were using it as background noise for them, and it sent me into such an existential shock because like my god, I used to use that opening for I used to use that sound file for the opening of Six Gaming Pros, and it sucked back then too. So like, I don't know why people think that that's a good song to be playing for background noise. Uh, it's funny. That's just funny. Not to say that everything from Bensound is bad. It's just everything that has no royalties attached to it has been used by literally everybody under the sun. So trying to find something unique and that sounds good is just a bit of a challenge. But I think I've got something good with my um if what's it called? I want to say theorized, but no. Shoot, what's the word? Projected intro for quick play. Basically, what I'm trying to think of while I'm starting to record more stuff for quick play, which has been on and off for a while, and I haven't really gotten to many games that I have in the library, in my games library. Um, I've wanted to put together, a channel intro for quick play, and I've got a song picked out from the audio library. I'm not going to say it because I don't want more people to be using it, even though nobody does watch this. Um, I don't want to. I don't want to put it out there in case like some random person watches this, takes it, and it's it's purely selfish. I know, but let me be selfish a little bit. But I realize like the song that I have is extraordinarily long, and I don't nearly have enough diverse footage to uh, put that together. I have a bunch of Uno and Gmod stuff that I could possibly use, but that's the thing. It's all very just one note, and um, that's the kind of like the thing about starting off is that the the people that like do that stuff for a living have access to almost every single game on the market, and you can like pick a game and it's like that's what we're gonna do, kind of stuff like that. While when you're starting off, you have first the hurdle of the equipment, the high end PCs, the capture cards, probably the microphones, that kind of stuff. It's fine. That's uh that's the starting stuff. That what you need to do to like start working with that kind of stuff. And then the issue comes with the games as well. And it kind of got brought to my attention after I put out the flashing lights video on Facebook, where somebody said like, "Did you really spend $14 just to play that once for a Facebook video?" And I said no. I'm definitely planning on doing more of that on Quick Play for real. But it kind of made me realize like some of these people buy these games and do one-offs on them, and it's like, oh my god, that's all that they're there for. And like I would like shudder at paying $10 for a random Steam game for as a joke even. And some of these people that I'm trying to follow in the footsteps over are sometimes have games sent to them that are like full priced games, $60. I think Game Grumps specifically got one of the Sonic games sent from like a dozen people, and it's just like I'd really like to have that kind of clout, but of course I've got to work my way up to that. That's fine though. I Whoever said it was easy? Nobody ever said it was easy. Somebody said it was easy. Somebody trying to be an asshole probably. But that is all that is all hurdles that I'm trying to figure out. One thing that's been a bit of an alleviation from this whole thing is the Dolphin emulator, which is what I was able to record the Mario Galaxy 2 on. And it kind of sucks because I wanted to first play on the Wii with. I first wanted to use Quantum of Solace on the Wii just to kind of like have a shooter game where weird things happen in it. There are a lot of weird things that happen on the Wii version of Quantum of Solace, and I really want to show it off. But at the moment, the Dolphin ROMs for Quantum of Solace are not very fast to download. It would take me about 2 days to get it downloaded, and I don't know if like I want to keep my PC on for that long, but I'll eventually get to it. The only thing that's stopping me from playing it on the Wii itself is that the cables that uh, send the video through to the TV are all in black and white, and the audio cables don't play with the capture card. So I just kind of like gotta figure out a way around that, and maybe I just get new cables for the Wii. But shipping things is kind of like a big question mark at the moment as far as Amazon is uh, included. Hi, cat. My cat has just walked into my room. I think she wants attention. Um, but yeah, I ended up playing Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Dolphin, and it's fine. Using a controller or an Xbox controller isn't my preferred method of playing the Wii. I'm one of those rare people that is more used to playing on the Wii than on like legitimate controllers, because like I grew up with it, so I was entirely used to how the control schemes worked and how the physics kind of like made the world around it function. What do you want? My cat's yelling at me and trying to get me to get her food, but I can't. I'm sorry. You've already gotten food. Come on my lap. Come on to my lap. Come on. All right, she'll get there eventually. Um, but yeah, I really want to like kind of I really just kind of want to struggle with the controls of the Quantum of Solace, because if I remember correctly, it is a little bit of a learning curve to try and get used to the controls of Quantum of Solace. And I, for one, really want to just try to relearn my footing as far as the Wii goes. That, and there's when you emulate something, it brings into question of like how legal it is to do it. Me personally, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I'm fine with emulating something as long as I can prove that there is there's no way to support the game in its current form, or support the people that made it in its current form, and or if like I've already bought it before when it was available to be supported the people that made it, like Mario 64 for example. There's no way that Nintendo has like put out something for the Nintendo 64, or Mario 64 for that example. For that being said, and thus I'm fine with emulating it because like there's no way to support Nintendo for the game itself, and it's old enough that you know it's just kind of like one of those things. It's like, yeah, that's fine. We can emulate that. It'll be nobody's gonna be hurt by it really, because like who is gonna be hurt if we emulate it? Nintendo definitely isn't because they don't have anything to be. They don't have a medium to profit off of any sales of Mario 64. That's just kind of where I lie. And the same goes for Quantum of Solace and Mario Galaxy 2. Like, they've stopped making stuff for the Wii, and now there's just no way to support the people who made Mario Galaxy 2 or the Quantum of Solace. So I'd be fine with emulating them, but it my biggest problem is just that it's not fun. It's not as fun to play those on an emulator rather than just on the Wii itself. And I would be doing it on the Wii if it weren't for the cables being 10 years old. The struggles of this whole thing. I wonder I wonder if anybody ever watches this because I had that For Terrific video where I got over 1,000 views and people still comment on it to this day saying like, "Oh yeah, I saw this guy. He commented on my thing and said let's collab." Even though like it is weeks old at this point, and I don't know. I don't know. I find it funny that people are still looking at that and trying to comment on it, trying to be uh with it, I guess, so to say. And it's interesting too because it specifically targets videos that get zero views because there was a lot of comments that said I thought somebody finally liked my animations and stuff, but it turns out I was wrong. And I hate to say it, but the animations themselves were uh, they weren't great. There's definitely room for improvement, but I wouldn't say they were awful, honestly. I'd have to look it up to get a concrete idea. But yeah, that's mainly how I was able to see it because literally nobody cares about a video they see that's an hour long and literally just a guy talking to himself. So that's just how I feel. But it's not how I feel. That is what that is what For Terrific did, and they changed their channel name, so they probably go by a different name. Who knows? Who the heck knows? Um, I really don't have much to say else. My buddies are trying to get me to buy this real time strategy game Stellaris, which seems like a AAA real time strategy game that takes place in space. It's kind of like Crusader Kings, except there are some uninhabited lands, and you're able to uh, start the first portion of the game and just kind of expanding and doing that, which I find fun and fine. But once it actually like starts getting to the point where you have to interact with other species and stuff like that, that's probably where I'm gonna drop off because I just don't give a crap about that kind of stuff. That's why I didn't like Crusader Kings that much. It's just like interacting with other entities in a strategy game is not my cup of tea. And that's just me myself. I've never enjoyed the aspect that to put the Crusader Kings and Stellaris in an example. I don't like feeling like I'm missing out on doing something because I don't know what to do. And even if I feel like I did know what I was going to do, I would always feel like there's something that I could be doing to optimize myself, and I just hate missing out on that. And like it's it probably stems from the fact that I don't know how to play the game, or that it's just kind of like a new thing and I'm really intimidated by the whole big aspect of exploration and conquering and making other empires submit under my divine rule or something like that. But I mean, I couldn't care less if I have more numbers than the other people because, I for one don't feel anything when I see the numbers of troops walking over to one land and eventually, the land turns a different color and so it's mine now or something like that. I just that doesn't entice me to play a game or something. I don't know. And I feel bad for saying that I don't like those kinds of things because that's kind of the stuff that my friends are really raving about at the moment and I'm sad to say it, but it's just not my cup of tea. The same thing goes with Trouble in Terrorist Town for Gmod. That's mostly that my distaste for it mostly comes from me being awful at first person shooters and with that everyone just seems to target me all the time because of it and I just miss things that everyone says are really obvious and I'm just like I didn't hear anything. I There was one time where uh a friend got killed by a desert eagle or something from like apparently right next to us. I didn't hear the shot because I was talking to somebody else during the time, and I went back to the recording, and you could definitely hear it when you're looking for it. But you have to realize I'm both listening to another person and talking to them at the same time, so there's no way I would have known that happened. I'll con- but the difference with TTT is that I'll continue playing that because there's still more potential in that than Stellaris or Crusader Kings. I'm really not a fan of those two because it's just literally watching colors change and you get to click a couple buttons. I'm not too much of a fan about that because like there are intricacies where you can set up councils and set up people to like rule this thing over that thing or send your courtiers to this place to bring down revolts or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's just numbers. It's just a bunch of numbers that you, in some vague sense, get to control. Sort of. I don't know. Maybe I don't have a good enough attitude towards the games that they like, and maybe that's just what bringing it down for me. I don't know. I've never liked real time strategies to begin with. I've had my shot at Clash of Clans, and that was just about the end of it because eventually it got to a point where it's like, what am I doing this for? There's no way I'm ever gonna get to the end of it, and by the time I do, what have I gained? It's just all nonsense. It's what it is. And speaking of nonsense, my phone is pulling the biggest nonsense I've ever seen. I think it's getting to a point where my charging cable and my phone are both collectively like giving out. My phone has started losing charge while it is plugged in, and I once it is unplugged, I have like less than an hour of battery time before it like dies at 50%. I'm not kidding, it's done that before. And like it will go from like 40 to 50% to 0 in a second. And I can always tell when it's about to happen because it will say media device has been disconnected and I suddenly cannot use data and then it just conks out just like that. So next Christmas, I'm gonna be asking for that new phone because I've got 5 years or 6 years with that phone, and now it's finally towards the point of no return. Which kind of reminds me about the tablet that I had. My first like smart device was a tablet, and I have that here with me as well. But that itself is not great as well. It's got a half a gigabyte of RAM, and it crashes when it's using the new version of YouTube. So like, it's not great. It's not good at all. All my technologies are dying, and I'm just trying to make do with what I've got. And hopefully I don't use out this PC enough to where it starts crapping out, because that will be a real heartbreaker. This thing is less than a year old, and I don't want to see this thing go, because I'm gonna be really be needing to use this over the week, or the next year rather. That's gonna be a difficult conversation to convince my parents to let me bring this to Stevens Point, because the editing that I have on here is so good, and as long as I'm at Stevens Point, I'm able to use the Creative Cloud. But the thing is, this is like, I can't justify that this has all my games on it as well. It's a bit of a complicated situation, but I'll figure it out when it comes to that. And hopefully, I will be able to go back to Stevens Point because of this whole outbreak shenanigans. That's really all I wanted to mention, really. I wanted to talk about my stupid phone last week, but I didn't get around to it because I just kind of forgot. And that's why there's a battery symbol on there, and I didn't talk anything about the phone battery or anything like that because I was so rushed. But yeah, my phone has just been having seizures this past 2 weeks, and I've just kind of been living with it. This past day, the phone wouldn't connect to the Wi-Fi for the whole day, and it only like recovered just a couple hours ago, and I'm finally able to use Wi-Fi on my phone again. And it's just like, this thing is this thing sucks. This thing is really on its last legs, and that's really all I have to do that. So thank you for watching. If you see this, and if you're me from the future who lost your memories, stay strong. All right, bye.